Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University on the Dice Tower.
Today we'll be teaching you how to play Freshwater Tank, game designed by Omar and Yavuz Ugur and published by Kaplan Crypto, a family game for aquarium enthusiasts.
Let's get to the table.
For millions of families around the world, keeping pet fish in an aquarium is a part of life. The colour, the tranquility and the hobby makes it ideal for people from all walks of life. But fish keeping is not a simple matter of simply putting fish in an aquarium and admiring them. You need to set the aquarium up properly, and you need to make sure the fish that you're putting in there are compatible with each other and with the environment. In Freshwater Tank, you will compete and learn about how to set up a harmonious fish tank, trying to be the first to fill your tank with 10 fish all compatible with each other. To set up the game, give each player one tank board and one fish piece, which each player places on the start space of the main board. Keep 2 extra tank boards nearby, and return any leftover tank boards to the box. Make sure each player has access to one of the 2 freshwater fish compatibility charts. Shuffle all the blue fish cards and the red incident cards and place them on their relevant spaces on the main board. Finally, each player rolls the die, and whoever rolls the highest number goes first. On your turn in Freshwater Tank, you will roll 1 die and then move your fish piece that many spaces clockwise around the board. If you finish your move on a space which shows one of the game's 3 icons, the fish, the incident, or the free tank, then you will resolve that effect. Play then passes to the next player clockwise. If your marker lands on the fish icon, then you will draw the top card from the fish deck and attempt to add it into your aquarium. In order to keep the fish, it must be compatible with all of the other fish that you already have in the tank. If the new fish is not compatible, then you must either return it to the bottom of the deck you drew it from, or return other fish until all the fish are compatible. There are 3 checks which you must do to determine whether the fish are compatible. First, check the temperament, which is written at the top of the card and is also represented by the colour behind the fish. A blue fish is peaceful, an orange fish is semi-aggressive, and a red fish is aggressive. Aggressive and peaceful fish cannot coexist in the same tank, and so here this jaguar cichlid would need to be returned, as it's not compatible with these 3 peaceful fish. Secondly, you'll need to check the species compatibility with each other on the fish compatibility chart. Here, for example, the new fish drawn is a black ghost knife fish, which is represented by the knife fish row and column on the compatibility chart. You'll check this against each other fish, so knife fish with the gold nugget pleco, which falls under the plecos row, you can see has a green dot, representing these 2 fish being compatible. The red-tailed shark, when you compare it with the knife fish, shows a yellow dot, which is caution. Caution fish can be kept together in the same tank, but not too many pairs of caution fish, which we'll talk about shortly. When it comes to checking the compatibility of cichlids, you'll need to check the origin of that cichlid. This comes from South America, and so you would check the American cichlids column rather than the African cichlids. This knife fish is likewise caution with this cichlid. However, if we check the compatibility of the knife fish with the angelfish, you'll see that they are not compatible. As such, either the knife fish or the angelfish would need to be returned to the bottom of the deck. Finally, you need to check all of the species in your tank to make sure you don't have too many caution pairs. For these purposes, group all fish of the same species together. So this tank has 4 American cichlids, 2 plecos, and a tetra, a loach, a gourami, and a shark. Check the compatibility of each species pair, including a species with itself if you have more than one, such as these American cichlids, which are caution with each other. Here there are a total of 7 cautions. The maximum number of cautions you can keep depends on the difficulty of the game you're playing. In the beginner's game, the maximum is 6. In the competent game, the maximum is 4. And at expert level, the maximum is 2. In this case, if we were playing the beginner's game, the player would discard the black tetra to get down to 4 caution pairs. Keeping multiple fish of the same species together is a good way of reducing your overall cautions. If you land on the exclamation mark icon, then draw and resolve the top card from the incident deck. There are 3 types of incident cards. The first is a fish, which you can keep in your fish tank in the usual way. Incident fish do not appear on the compatibility chart. Rather, they tell you the fish they're compatible with at the bottom of the card. Treat all of these fish as green dots, and all other fish types as red dots. This one is compatible with the cichlids and the pleco, but not the gourami, so the player would either have to return the arowana or the gourami. Some incidents will show you the purple colour with no fish, and in this case resolve the text at the bottom of the card before returning it to the bottom of the incident deck. This could include moving your piece around the board, which would include resolving any new space you land on. It could include losing or gaining fish from your tank, or it may simply include some educational information about keeping a freshwater tank. Finally, there are the very aggressive fish, shown on the purple background. You do not want these in your tank. When you draw one, it will always result in one of your other fish being eaten, before both the eaten fish and the very aggressive fish are returned to the bottoms of their decks. These fish are not compatible with any other fish. The final action in the game is the free tank. A player who lands here takes one of the 2 spare tanks that was set aside at the start of the game and adds it to their collection. If both of these have already been taken, then there is no effect for this space. For the rest of the game, this player can freely rearrange fish between the 2 tanks, trying to get the best combination that will add up to 10 in one tank to finish the game. This offers the flexibility to attempt multiple different paths to victory, perhaps adding a lot of aggressive or high caution fish to one tank and trying to maintain peaceful fish in the other tank. The game continues until any one player has a single fish tank with 10 compatible fish inside. A player with 2 tanks can only trigger this if there are 10 fish in a single tank, not 10 spread between the 2. The game ends immediately, and the player who achieved this wins the game. Freshwater Tank is all based on the real compatibility of common freshwater pet fish. The lessons that players learn while playing this game will help them to set up healthy and thriving aquariums in real life. You should not set up an aquarium without playing this game first. If you're looking for a simpler game experience, you can also choose to play without the compatibility chart. When playing this way, the winner will be the first player who collects 10 fish of the same temperament. In this case, semi-aggressive fish cannot be kept with either peaceful or aggressive fish.
And that's how to play Freshwater Tank. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed this video, please help us by hitting that like button and subscribe to the Dice Tower if you haven't already done so.
And if you have any questions, comments or feedback, please leave them in the comments section below.
See you next time.